So, just got back from NAMM 2026. If you aren't familiar with what that is, it's pretty much the largest conference or convention for anything dealing with music. So, if you want to learn about what new companies are releasing, the latest and greatest technology for like anything music, it exists at this place. And it's held in Anaheim, California every single year. And it's a place that I try to go to as often as I can. The last one I attended was literally days before COVID-19 outbreak here in the United States. So it's really nice for me to go back this year, get rejuvenated, and learn about the latest and greatest technologies that are coming out for all of us home studio musicians. Because it's a big commitment to make it all the way to NAMM, a lot of people ask, like, is it worth it for me to attend? I think if you've never gone and you're very passionate about music and technologies, and you just want to meet other like-minded musicians, it is probably the one conference you should go to. Just walking into the convention center, I was having a conversation with the drummer from the Devin Townsend project. I saw David from Mixbus TV and Warren Hewart from Produce Like a Pro, Joey Sturgis and Joel Wanasek from Nail the Mix, Andrew Sheps and Tom Lord Alge. And I finally got to put a face to the people that make the plugins that we use in our sessions every day. Now, I don't have anything planned for this video. There I go, hitting the stupid mic again. I try to go as often as I can just to kind of get refreshed and reinvigorated for YouTube and to see what kind of technologies are coming down the pipeline so I can share all that stuff with you. And trust me, from all the stuff I saw this last week, there's a lot of really interesting music technology that's coming our way. The main thing I saw this year was a lot of focus on AI and machine learning and how that integrates into our gear that we use every single day, how it can be integrated with live performances to synchronize lighting and sound, and also generative instruments using machine learning that sound better than any sampled instrument out there. Not to mention all the AI voice modeling and that kind of stuff. So there's going to be really, really cool stuff coming in the next year or two that you need to be aware of because it's going to completely change the way that home studio music production is done. Also, something that was very pleasantly surprising to me was how many people knew who I was and came up and said hi. So if that was you, thank you. You made my day. It was so nice to be able to meet so many of you in real life. NAMM truly is one of these weird magical places where you never know who you're going to run into or who you're going to meet. For example, I had lunch with Glenn Fricker, the really angry YouTube guy that hates bass players, and the main programmer, Alex Nasla, that does all the Spectre Digital plugins. And at this table was also Steve Atkinson, who developed Neural Amp Modeler. So it was a giant, angry nerd fest, basically, for lunch. But I got to hear about all the ideas that Steve has for trying to take Neural Amp Modeler to the next level. And if you haven't heard of this, you definitely need to because there's some big developments happening with that platform right now. So it's an open source guitar amp and effect profiler that you can use to capture your guitar amps, for example, and create profiles that you can then share on a website called Tone 3000. So you can literally download other people's exact guitar rigs. And it actually works for things outside of just guitar amps. And like I said, it's free. So you can literally just go and download a plugin to load these amp profiles from Neural Amp Modeler, and you have instant access to a ton of free great tones. It's really, really cool. And it's only going to get better. After speaking with Steve, it kind of inspired me to do some tutorials on what Neural Amp Modeler is and how you can use that, so you can expect a few of those on the way soon. And also, if Steve's not too busy, I'm going to try to get him to come on the YouTube channel and do a Q&A and kind of talk through where he wants to take Neural Amp Modeler and what that means for all of you guitarists and bassists out there. And I hope to also get a bunch of questions from you, my lovely YouTube subscribers, so that I can ask Steve the questions that you have. I also got to meet the folks behind Korneff Audio and those plugins, and I had a really fun time with them. Dan Korneff actually gave me a nodal analysis lecture, which we sat down over a few beers, and he was teaching me how to capture circuits in the most elegant way possible. And because we're both audio nerds, we spent a lot of time looking underneath the hood of some of his plugins, and he explained why certain modeling approaches don't always capture gear the way that it actually sounds. So it's kind of fun to sit and talk to someone who has that much passion about circuit design, and I think it really gets reflected in the quality of his plugins. Not to mention, they always do something crazy every NAMM, and this year they made their booth look like a food truck, which was actually pretty awesome. So I'm super glad I went, except for the fact that when I returned back to DC area, it was just a freezing, snowy abyss here. And it was 75 and sunny in California. But I made it back. I didn't get sick, which is pretty common to call it NAMMthrax, but looks like I avoided it this year. So let me know in the comments, have you heard of NAMM? Have you ever wanted to go? Do you actively go? Let me know. If a bunch of you actively go to NAMM, we should probably have a meetup. I think that'd be pretty awesome. And if you went to NAMM this year, be sure to share a story in the comments about something that happened to you while you were there. Maybe some cool technology you saw. Maybe you saw a really cool looking guitar. Maybe you saw some incredible live music. Just type up a little comment, hit the send button. I'm Bobby Bale, the mixing and mastering engineer at Rayton Productions. I'll see you in the next video.